It's Platt, and today we try another peanut butter beer. That's next to Platt's Beer of the Week. So the particular beer we have today is called Sweet Baby Jesus. It is a peanut butter porter. Comes to us from the fine folks at DuClaw Brewing. A little bit about the background of DuClaw Brewing. The DuClaw Brewing was opened in 1996 by a gentleman named Dave Benfield. DuClaw is located in Rosedale, Maryland. That's in the Baltimore area. I believe it's northeast of town, something like that. Dave originally went to college to be an electrical contractor. I don't know if that was the family business or not, but from my reading, that was kind of his lot in life. That was his destiny when he went to college. However, like a lot of us in college, we pick up some hobbies, and Dave actually picked up a productive one, home brewing, and he fell in love and got the bug. To the point where by the time he was getting ready to graduate, his dad came to him, I guess, said, all right, when's the brewery happening? Because we know that's where this is going. And that's where it eventually did. And in 96, he opened DuClaw. Now, originally, Dave wanted DuClaw to be a little more focused on the brew pub model. Like, he wanted to open multiple models. He's, focused on the food and the beer pairing and everything. And he opened fairly quickly 3 different locations. It was at that point he realized, all right, well, I need a production facility to service these brew pubs. Don't need to have 3 breweries of the same size. So he created the production facility. Well, if you're going to have a production facility, you might as well have a canning line and a bottling line, along with a kegging line. Well, if you're going to keg and bottle, now you start distributing. Now you can start going to other markets, however. And quickly, his focus left the brew pub model. And I want to say originally they were kind of striving to maybe, really expand regionally, maybe franchise, what have you. But after that production facility got going in the canning and the bottling, he switched to more of a production model because it's probably easier to ship beer to another state, to get in another state, than open an entire brew pub, licensing, all that stuff. And so now the company's more focused on the production model and their line of beers. Quickly, let's talk about their beers because I think DuClaw does some really interesting beers. The first beer I want to talk about is a concept. I don't know why more craft brewers do it, but I kind of do because of the snobbery sometimes of craft brewing. DuClaw has a beer called Regular Beer. That's literally the name of it, Regular Beer. It is a 4.9% alcohol by volume American lager, in the same vein as like a Budweiser, Miller High Life, Coors Original. This is not a diet lager like your Bud Light, Miller Lite, but it's just a classical American-style, easy-drinking lager. I think this is a great idea. I get complaints by some of my friends sometimes when I brew beers and have them try. They're like, well, do you have any regular guy beer? They love to use the term regular guy beer. I don't want any of that chewy beer. I want regular guy beer. And the craft people kind of look down at that as like, well, you're Neanderthals. We don't want to deal with you. But I think they're missing an opportunity because even though I haven't tried regular beer, I bet it's a pretty good American lager. Probably even better than the Bud, the Miller, And so what a great way to get that guy to try a beer in a craft beer scene. And I bet it would only take 1 or 2 of those regular guy beers to like, hey, let's try a blonde ale. Or let's try a cream ale. Something like that. Start kind of pushing them into the craft beer scene. I just think it's great that craft brewery would make that beer. And again, just realize there's some portion of the population that are not going to drink double IPs. They're just not, and they're not bad people for it. Let's make something they can drink. Next is a beer called Funk. What a great name for a beer. I'm surprised I haven't heard of a beer called Funk. It's called Funk. It is checking my notes, 5% blueberry citrus wheat. I like blueberry beers. I've tried a few before, and I think the blueberry wheat thing is a nice little combination. So very interesting beer. Next, they have one, I love the name, Hop Tarts. Kind of a play on Pop Tarts, and even if you see the beer can, the font and the lettering looks like the font that they use for Pop Tarts. It is an 8% alcohol by volume wild berry double IPA. The berry mixture is blueberry, raspberry, and strawberry. Now they do note on this beer, on the website, they do say this is not a berry beer. Don't think of it as a berry flavored beer or something like that. The berry is subtle. It's still a classic double IPA. The hops are still very predominant. thus the name Hop Tart. But I like the name. If you see the can, it is kind of a cool can. Next, they have something called My Key Lime Pie. It is a 7.1% alcohol by volume hopped sour. Sour beers are real hot right now. And key lime, I think that's a unique taste. This beer has a little bit of lactose. If you know anything about home brewing or whatever, you know that if you add lactose, it's a sugar that doesn't ferment, so that sweetness stays through. And it also adds a little creaminess to the mouthfeel, which works perfect with the key lime pie theme. So it sounds a very interesting beer. I'll definitely keep my eye out for that. And last but not least, again, I wish my brain worked like this. They have a beer that's part of their Sour Me series. They have a series of sour beers. This beer is called Unicorn Farts. I don't even have to know what's in it. Just give me that. What is actually in Unicorn Farts is they brew the beer with fruit cereal, similar to a Fruit Loop, you know, your kid's fruity cereal, and edible glitter. Yes, fruity cereal and edible glitter in a beer. Let's do it. Well, with that being said, before we try this particular beer from DuClaw, let's check out the stats. Well, all right, we're back. Quick little production note. Forgot camera bogged down me, so I'd already started drinking the beer, but that's all right. We'll reshoot this again. Real quick, as I've done the last few weeks, I suggest certain stocking stuffer books for the holidays, and the particular one I want to talk about today is called Homebrew Beer. This book is a really nice book for new brewers. They have 100 different recipes in here. It covers all different kinds of styles. But the start of the book is real great. Like I said, for beginners, kind of really goes through the whole process, gets you through terms, explains fermentation, sanitation. One of the things they do, too, that I like about this book is they actually do talk about kit beers and kind of running your first time through a kit beer. A lot of books just kind of like skip over it because, like, well, if you're going to buy a kit, they got their own instructions. You know, that's their deal. This book actually talks about kit beer, which I think is great. If I'm teaching people how to homebrew, we're starting with kit beers. Just in my world, makes sense. One thing I also like about this book is that the recipes are all grain, but down below they give you a partial mash or a full extract version of these recipes, which is great because a lot of people, again, especially newer brewers, jumping into all grains kind of a big step, and people kind of get intimidated. So if you can find extract version of these recipes, it's really nice for the beginners. One thing I do have to note about this book that's kind of odd, and I don't know if this book was intended for English-speaking countries like Australia, Canada, the UK, where they use the metric system and have different standard measurements. Because a lot of the recipes here are 8 gallons. Now, here in the U.S., a lot of the kits, a lot of the things you'll buy at a home brewing supply or whatever, a lot of the recipes you'll get are made for 5 gallons. That's kind of standard here. Now, kits have actually gone smaller. Your Mr. Beer kits, your Brew Demons, they're 2 gallons. And your Craft or Brooklyn Brew Shops, or whatever, are 1 gallon. So you can actually find a lot of 1-gallon recipes. It makes life easier for you. If you're brewing an 8-gallon recipe, you pretty much need a 10-gallon brew pot. That's a big pot to put on a stove, which is a lot of people, a lot of home brewers are doing. If you have a turkey burner or whatever, yeah, not as big a deal. But the new brewer that's kind of brewing at home, 8 gallons is kind of an odd size. They also I want to say they have 1 or 2 recipes at 6 gallons, which again is kind of an odd size. I do know a lot of fermenters you'll find out there that are 6-gallon fermenters or 6-gallon carboys, stuff like that. But that's meant for 5-gallon batches to where you have some headspace. You put full 6 gallons in the 6-gallon deal, you have no headspace. So it's kind of an odd batch size. So you might have to do some mental math if you don't have a 10-gallon brew kettle or you want to convert this to a 5-gallon. You're going to do a little math, but like I said, these are solid recipes. And again, they convert some of the recipes into extract brewing. So check it out, Homebrew Beer. I'll leave the link down below for you. All right, well, as you see, I've already cracked into the beer, but we'll do this again real quick. This is the peanut butter porter from DuClaw, Sweet Baby Jesus. I'll give her a quick drink. This beer is really nicely executed. You get the peanut butter, but it's a little more than just subtle. It's milder peanut butter. Some of these peanut butter beers really focus on the peanut butter end of the beer, or they kind of shoot for a liquid Reese's peanut butter cup, which, don't get me wrong, that's a great idea. That's something definitely to shoot for. Those beers, though, tend to sometimes get kind of too sweet. This here really works because, again, the peanut butter is a little softer than some of the other beers. There's plenty of chocolatey notes, and a classic porter will have some chocolate notes, but it's more of like a cocoa kind of chocolate, not the milk chocolate kind of vibe. And again, if you're going for that Reese's peanut butter cup thing, then the milk chocolate's what you're shooting for. But these really play well with each other. This beer's 6.2% alcohol by volume, so it's not too high. You can have a couple of these, not worry about being on the floor. Also, what I do like about this beer is that it has body. You can tell, or well, when I was pouring it poured out black, and it looked like, oh, that's going to be a big beer, big, viscous beer. It's not that at all. It has plenty of body. It's medium plus body, but it's not coating your mouth. It's not thick. Again, 6.2% alcohol. This is not a winter warmer. You don't feel it in the chest. This is something you could drink a couple of. Unlike some of the other chocolate peanut butter porters, peanut butter stouts, what have you, that are a little big, a little viscous. You just, some of these specialty beers, they're really tasty beers, but you can't drink more than one because your just palate gets beat up. This is something I could have 2 or 3 of pretty easily. Again, it's a little softer on the palate. Finish, medium-ish. It's not one of those that just lingers in your mouth either. Like, again, depending on what you eat this with, this could pair very nicely. It's not going to dominate your food. So I want to say just a good job by the guys at DuClaw. I think they execute this right. Again, you get the peanut butter and the chocolate like you're wanting in a beer like this, but it's not over the top. Bird agrees. He gets it. It's not over the top. Well executed. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.